Welcome everyone. In today's lecture, we are going to see the circuit which is a current mirror circuit. As in the previous lectures, already we have seen the differential amplifier, and for the first stage of operational amplifier, we have used dual input balanced output differential amplifier, and in the second stage, we have used the dual input unbalanced output differential amplifier. Now, there is direct coupling between the first and second stage of the operational amplifier, because of which there is increase into the DC level after the second stage. So, already in the previous lecture what we have seen is the constant current bias circuits. So, there are different constant current bias circuits. We will simply summarize this. The constant current bias circuits with the resistive load that we have seen, as see here into the first diagram, that we have used a constant current bias circuit with resistive load R1, and here the collector of transistor Q3 is connected to the emitter junction of Q1 and Q2. Now this is nothing but a dual input balanced output differential amplifier, to which we have connected the collector C3 of transistor Q3. Hence, we know that this is the constant current bias circuit. It will produce the constant output current IC3, and that will be flowing into the emitter terminals of Q1 and Q2. As we know that IC3 is nothing but the addition of current IE1 and IE2. Hence, here IC3 current, half of the IC3 current is flowing into the emitters of transistor Q1 and Q2. So, this circuit will produce the constant output current IE3, that is flowing through the emitter resistor, as this is the emitter follower circuit. For this transistor, IE3 current is equal to IC3. Hence, we can say that the current IE1 is equal to current IE2 is approximately is equal to IC3 by 2, and already we have derived this equation in the previous lecture for the constant current bias circuit with resistive load. The another constant current bias circuit is, that is, in place of resistor R1, now we have put two diodes D1 and D2, and this will provide the thermal stability to the circuit, as increase into the temperature of transistor Q3 will reduce the voltage drop between the base to emitter, and hence maximum current IB3 will be flowing into the input terminal. This will increase the voltage drop across resistor RE, and hence there is increase into the emitter current IE3. As this current increases, the output current that is flowing into the emitter of Q1 and Q2 also increases. So it could not produce the constant current. Hence, we have used the diodes D1 and D2. As with increase in temperature of Q3, also there is increase in temperature of diodes D1 and D2, and voltage drop across these two diodes will also decreases with increase in temperature, and hence the current component of I2, maximum current components flowing through the diode, and there is increase into the IB3 is will be prevented because of increase into the ID. So minimum current IB3 will be flowing, and hence we can prevent the current IE3 to be get increased, and hence constant current will be maintained. So we can define the I3 current is equal to VD by RE for this circuit with two diodes. Now these two diodes are again we have replaced with the Zener diode, and hence here we have used the Zener diode, as there are maximum number of Zener diodes available with different voltage availabilities. And for this we know that IE3 current is Vz minus VB3 by RE, and R2 is equal to VEE minus Vz by I2. Here we have to select the resistor R2 such that this resistor will define the current component IE2, and we know that this current IE2 will be dependent on R2, and as emitter current IE3 will dependent on RE, eventually this R2 will define the I2, and some component current flowing through the base IB3 is the part of I2. Hence the control of I2 we can control the emitter current IE3. So these are some of the constant current bias circuits we have seen, and now we are going to see the current mirror circuits. Here what we are going to do is we are simply replacing this diode, Zener diode, or you can say like these two diodes or resistors with a transistor circuit. And again that transistor we have used is identical in all the properties to the transistor Q3. So see, we will see next the constant, or we can say the current mirror circuits. To see here is the current mirror circuit, which is the special case of constant current bias circuit. What we did here is, see, there are two transistors Q3 and Q4 connected in such a way that this base are connected, and we again have connected the R2 resistor which is connected to ground. So the circuit is similar to the previous two circuits, where here initially there is one resistor. Next time what we did is we have connected there two diodes, and after that the Zener diode we have connected. Now in this current mirror circuit, in place of this Zener diode we have connected a transistor Q4. So the circuit will be similar to the previous, only we are replacing Zener with the help of transistor, and that is Q4 transistor. So because of this minus VE voltage, there is some of the current flowing into the circuit. So the respectively there are two nodes where we can find the current will get splitted. So through this resistor R2 there is one current flowing, is I2 current. At this node VB3 voltage will be there. At this node this current will get split into two halves. One is current IE, another is to the collector of Q4 IC4. Now this I current will be going to the base of both of the transistors. So I current at this node will get splitted as IB3 and IB4. Okay, and voltage drop across Q4 is VBE4 minus VBE4 between the base to emitter, and for transistor Q3 base to emitter voltage drop is VBE3. Current flowing through the transistor Q3's emitter is IE3. There is IE4 current flowing. Here is IC4. IC3 current will be flowing through the collector, and this current is nothing but flowing into the emitter of two transistors Q1 and Q2. Here what we are going to determine is the output current, that is IC3, which will be going to the emitter of differential amplifier Q1 and Q2. This current is the output current, is the mirror image of the input current, which is I2 current, that we have to determine here. So as the output current is the mirror current of the input current, circuit is called as current mirror circuit. It means that output current is same or equal to the input current. Now the current in which the output current is forced to equal the input current is said to be mirror current, and that is nothing but output current is the mirror image of the input current. Same circuit will be here. Once we set I2, the current IC3 is automatically established, and which is nearly equal to I2. Means what is our aim here is to set current I2. So IC3 will get automatically established. Since we know that Q3 and Q4 are identical transistors and their base emitter voltages VB3 and VB4 must be same, and their base currents and collector currents must be equal. That is IB3 is equal to IB4, IC3 is equal to IC4. Now we have to determine IC3 is approximately equal to IE2. See, Q3 and Q4 are identical transistors, so VBE3 is equal to VBE4, collector currents IC3 is equal to IC4, base currents IB3 is equal to IB4. Summing currents at the node VB3 that we get here or we obtained, now here is the node VB3. I2 is incoming current, so how we can define I2 is I plus IC4, or this is IC4 plus I is I2 current. Now I2 current, how we can write it as IC4 is nothing but, or I is again we have splitted it, I will is equal to IB3 plus IB4, as I is IB3 plus IB4 and IB3 is equal to IB4. we can write I is equal to twice of IB4. So I2 is IC4 plus twice of IB4, or it can be also written as I2 is equal to IC3 plus twice of IB3, because IC3 is equal to IC4 and IB3 is equal to IB4. Hence I2 is IC3 plus 2 of, for replacing the current relation IB is IC by beta DC, that we can write 2 into IC3 by beta DC, that is IB current. And I2, now here is IC3 take common outside, and here it is I2 is equal to IC3 into bracket 1 plus 2 by beta DC. This is the input current flowing into the circuit. Now we have to equate this current is equal to the output current IC3. As we know that beta DC is large enough so that 2 by beta DC is negligible. Thus here consider this is beta. So thus the collector current of Q3 is nearly equal to the current I2. As 2 by beta DC is negligible, what is remaining here? See, 2 by beta DC is negligible, so only it is 1. So I2 is approximately is equal to IC3. Thus the collector current of transistor Q3 is nearly equal to the I2 current. I2 is approximately equal to IC3. The current I2 is obtained by writing the Kirchhoff's voltage equation for the base emitter loop of the transistor Q3. And hence how we can write the equation for current I2? I2 is current flowing, so we can write here voltage drop at this point minus voltage drop at this point divided by resistor. R2 is my I2 current. Or now writing KVL for this loop, base emitter loop. This is base emitter loop of transistor Q3. This is the base emitter loop. Now writing for this, we can write minus I2 into R2 minus VBE3, voltage this is VBE3, plus VE is equal to 0. Means this is the loop starting from this to this. Here this is minus VE. Okay, so that it is minus of I2 R2, this is one voltage drop, minus another voltage drop is VBE3. See here from plus to minus we have considered negative. Here is minus VE, so which is minus to plus. So it is written as plus VE is equal to 0. So loop will get closed. From this point we are considering the loop up to this point. So that it is minus I2 R2 minus VBE3 plus VE is equal to 0. Rearrange this equation for I2. So it is VEE minus VB3 divided by R2. Okay, so that I2 is current which is dependent on the resistor R2 and the known values of VEE. As VB3 we know that for silicon type of diodes and transistors it is 0.7 volt, for germanium it is near about 0.3. So an appropriate value of R2 can be chosen to set a desired value of collector current in a current mirror circuit. Okay, so this I2 is input current that we determined with the help of resistor R2. So its proper selection of R2 will give us the desired value of collector current, and which is flowing into the emitter of dual input balanced output differential amplifier. Now we know that in an operational amplifier the first two stages are differential amplifier stages and which are directly coupled. Because of the direct coupling between the first and second stage of the operational amplifier, there is increase into the DC level after the second stage of op-amp. That is, after the second stage of op-amp, the DC level is well above the ground potential and it may distort the operating points of the further stages of the operational amplifier. Hence, the final stage that we are included into the operational amplifier is the level shifting stage or level translator stage. So that level stage which is included shifts the output DC level at the second stage down to 0 volts, that is to the ground potential, and this is called as level translator or level shifter circuit. So this final stage must be followed by a level translator stage. Okay. So what is after the second stage of op-amp, we have to include the level translator or level shifter stage. So there are three different types of level translators or level shifters. That is, first one in the diagram we can see that this is emitter follower with voltage divider, which is connected to the emitter of to the junction of transistors Q1 and Q2. Similarly, the another is with emitter follower with constant current bias circuit. See there, the constant current bias with the help of two diodes will be designed here. So this is one of the level translator circuit which is used, and the another one is level translator, that is emitter follower with current mirror circuit. The same current mirror that already we have seen will be used as a level translator. So the third stage of operational amplifier is the level translator stage, and which is designed with the help of constant current bias circuits or constant current mirror circuits. So already all these three circuits we have seen, which are used as the level shifters or level translators, which will reduce the increased DC level after the second stage of op-amp to the zero potential, such that that will does not distort the operating points of the operational amplifier. Okay. So in this way we have seen today the different circuits, constant current bias circuits, how this circuit will produce the constant current at the emitter of transistor Q1 and Q2. And we know that for dual input balanced output differential amplifier or for differential amplifier, emitter current is its collector current, as all the transistors are identical to each other. So once we put its output current constant, that is IC3, that will get reflected as IE1 and IE2 current, and for two transistors which will be acts as output currents IC current. So once we are providing constant IC3 current, that will maintain the emitter current constant for the differential amplifier. And these are the level shifter circuits that we have seen is emitter follower with voltage divider, emitter follower with constant current bias, and emitter follower with current mirror circuit. Okay, thank you.